I don't know how they were. I just put the word out. She's got some.
Please stand, to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Ward 1, Jim Hall.
Here.
Ward 2, Brian Town.
Here.
Ward 3, Tommy Fox. Here. Ward 4, Larry Wilson, absent. Ward 5, Jim Moore.
Here.
And Scott Skillman replacing him tonight.
All right. Council, you have an opportunity to review the minutes from the May meeting and financial report. Are there any questions? If not, we need a motion to accept.
I make a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll second. Motion made, second to accept the May meeting as listed. Financial report. In favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. The first order of old business is the approval to pay 3 invoices to HWC Engineering for the work on the Okra water break. Do you want to outline these?
I'll read the amounts of the 3. The first one is from February 23rd to March 29th. And the amount of it is $4,000 for the consulting fees and such that we did. The next one is from March 30th to April 26th, for what they did for the Okra grant, the consulting fees and such, and it is $10,000. And the last one is from April 27th to May 24th, and it is $6,500 for their fees that they charged. And this is to be paid out of the water utility fund. It is the part of the grant, our match grant is what's paying this.
Any questions, council? We've already made this motion, please.
I make a motion to pay those 3 invoices.
I'll second. Motion made and seconded to approve the payment to HWC Engineering for the Okra water break. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next order of business. Karen.
Here. Hi.
Hi, you want to
Just wanted to give you
raise up the speed?
yeah, just a quick update. My name is Karen Schneider, and I'm with the organization called Fragile Central. We were hired by you and the city planned to do 2 things. One of them is to complete a sidewalk survey, and the next one will flow right after that, and it will be to update your American with Disabilities Transition Plan. Once your American with Disabilities Transition Plan is in place, it basically paves the way, unintended, for you to go after community crossing funds for repaving their community. So we were struggling for a little while to get, suitable candidates, for the field work. We have 2 people hired, they're both kids from Clinton. So we have them hitting the road, I believe either tomorrow or Thursday. The one thing, it's 2 young women, they're both IU students. I would really like to get my business card to your law enforcement folks. I don't want anybody harassing them, they have information cards, all that stuff, so, is that with you guys? I'll give it right to you. Just because, in other communities right now, we have a lot of interaction with the public, it hasn't really gone very well. So we're just trying to make sure that we're setting this up for everyone for success. The goal is for a survey to be done in the summer, probably before the end of July, and then we will walk right into your disability transition. That's where we're at. Do you have any questions for me?
Will they have identification tags?
They do. They do not have name tags, but they will have IDs. They have all the required PPE, which means they'll have a vest. They'll be carrying around we have business cards that have a bit of a paragraph on what's going on. Why are they doing this? They'll be where the misunderstanding tends to happen is they will be taking pictures in front of people's houses if there is a tripping hazard or anything like that. But they will be only focused on the public sidewalk. So we are putting everything in place so that they can sit there and go, you know what, this is what we're doing here. Here's a card. A bunch of those with them. They have their ID that identifies them as members of Thrive. That's what we've been doing.
Okay.
So, are there any questions for me?
Will there be logging in and out of the police so that if someone calls the police?
No, that's why I wanted to get my card to law enforcement.
So that the plan is not for them to check in and check out?
They check in and check out with my team.
Okay.
They don't necessarily check in and out because this is a joint effort with Clinton. It would be 2 phone calls. We're just trying to make it a real easy text for them.
Okay.
But we also have protocols in place that if I don't hear that they've checked out for the day, I will be texting them, making sure that they're okay. If I don't hear back, then I will activate EMS. Okay. Anything else? Thank you.
Good. You don't have to stay.
I won't for a few minutes.
Were you opposed earlier today?
I'm sorry?
Were you opposed earlier today?
I was. Getting up supplies from the shipping company.
Sheila goes Okay, next order of business. I think Matt is here. For development of a property, in Fairview Park with, what appear to be both cabins. Matt, we have some other questions that do need to answer. I really have some questions that I did not understand the last time you were explaining. I really asked our attorney, and he was very clear that we are not in favor of that property being developed with the type of property that we have for your. When I look at Lancaster tracks, I will agree with you, they look like they're well built. But a couple of things that I wanted to tell you that I have, and I'm sure you have too, that they are considered a tiny home. And I thought the last meeting that we had, that was something that we have addressed in the past. In fact, in 2017, we had a meeting with a person that wanted a tiny home, and we rejected that. So that we have that on the books. The other thing that are very clear with that is there are certain rules and regulations that are out there that deal with commercial development of a piece of property, even if it is housing. There's something called the modular rule with the state of Indiana, you have to have one for that. But your Indiana allows tiny homes, but it leaves it up to the community with residential codes and so forth. But one of the things I'm going to ask you that I saw is they are considered an RV. Is that correct? To your knowledge, they're on wheels.
They do come on wheels, yes, that's correct. And then, the proposition was to put a cement pad down and take them off the wheels and put them on a cement pad.
All right. Thanks for that clarity. Okay. One of the other things that they state is that they're designated for RV parks, campgrounds, or authorized tiny home communities. Again, when I spoke to Henry, he said that it's clear to him that since it came up before and we refused, that it's already set in place. Is that how you understand?
That's correct. Yeah, looking at the current, ordinances, and both local and countywide, there is not a provision that will allow it, as it's been explained to me at this point.
Okay.
So basically, a motion would be a variance of the rules of the ordinance, and that's just not done, for a single case. If you're looking to modify your ordinances or rules, that's a separate thing, but a single exception to it, not advisable.
And we've also looked at utilities, just so you know, and just, throw caution for the wind or anything, that we looked at those and how that would work if it were something that the town could be interested in at some point. And, requires obviously sewage. It does have that over there, but it would require an main to run 6-inch lines into and then draw out in the line to get to the manhole. I don't have an answer for what type of water supply line runs through there. It could be a 2-inch. The other side of that, just for you to know, in Fairview Park, if something like this were possible, you would be responsible for all the utilities and all you would have to collect. And whether a piece of the cabin, if you will, was unoccupied, there still are minimums that are due. Yeah, so that could be something we should really look into.
To give a little bit of background on why I was looking into that specific type. I considered duplexes first, and I had an architect build that out. I talked with the bank said need an appraisal. I talked with 2 construction companies. You guys are probably familiar with Jeffers Construction, and a lot of construction in Fairview. I got a quote from them. They were telling me $280,000 for a duplex. The appraisal came back in at a little over $200,000, okay, $205,000. And then I was told I would have to eat the cost and pay the extra above the appraisal rate. So I couldn't make that math make any sense. We obviously didn't build something that appraises way lower than what someone's gonna build it for. So that's where I was trying to look at alternative solutions that were still good good long-term solution for the community. Yes, I agree that tiny homes or RVs, look bad in a lot of cases or don't last, but I felt like these were maybe hopefully an exception, that were higher quality products that wouldn't be seen necessarily as, would actually help the community look a little bit nicer and, or at least that area look nicer. And, it wouldn't be a one-time thing because, so at the intersection there of the highway, not the first stop, but the second stop on my right, I also own that highway property right there near the church. And that's in the county's purview. But I was hoping to start with the parcel that we were discussing, and if that was successful, that's an acre and a half, so about 3 times the size of what we're talking about, to also continue and build that little community of log cabins there as well. But it sounds like, the challenge is, this is seen as an RV park or mini homes. I don't have an answer for that, and it sounds like you guys are opposed to that.
Sure. Well, we did a lot of exploration into this. I did, as a matter of fact, along with our engineer, and obviously came up, and we couldn't find a good solution other than what we already told. We are not in favor of challenging what we have in place. Okay. You may have greater success with the county or I
was kind of hoping to use this as a use case to the county, because I believe that you guys and also the county, my understanding was, we're trying to bring more development in the area and grow the area out, so I was kind of hoping that you might make an exception for me in this case, but I agree, not want to make a long exception.
Okay. All right.
Well, thank you guys for your time, I appreciate it.
Any other old business? No. New business, I'm a blank line. No. Can we have a police report?
Yes. So I have, April and May's activity after me. The car on Park Street has been dealt with. There's a remedy in place for that, so there's no longer an issue there. The property, the next property, it's working on that. It has had something, but there's been some vehicles go off, so we have to deal with that. Farmer's issue is the remedy. I know that you guys are working through the Fairview property, because that has been brought up. 368 South Jackson was a nuisance property. It was had a reorder. We called them. They had it cleaned up within 2 hours. And there was a property on Town Street, the same scenario. We called the realtor. They had it cleaned up right away. So
It's my understanding that the car that was sitting there for 3 years is gone. Is that correct?
it was one of 2 options. I know it's not currently in that same spot. It was either pushed into an outbuilding or they have to move it. It's not there. You have to physically go behind all these houses and go onto the property. You can see.
Okay, so it's been there.
How's the cleanup going on the Oaks property?
That's what we were talking about. You brought another vehicle in, but there's a flatbed there. He flies the flatbed to take some of the other property out. So we'll have to see if he does go back on or not.
And then, Mike Sperry was supposed to check on the house on the corner here.
And he did not give me an update on that. So
I just had a resident that was asking about it, because there were being real call in certain areas.
oh, and then can't think of the address. Another one on Jackson. There's a vacant property up there. We got all those people who cleaned it up also.
Any other questions for them? Or lights go out? new business? Fire department? Nothing? There's no burning ban in place. All right, that's warning from here, folks. Sorry, man. At this time, we're going to claims for the town, water, utility, wastewater, and storm.
The claims for the town for the month of June is $20,731.17. The claims for the water is $39,790.14. Claims for wastewater is $9,184.26. And the claims for stormwater is $2,346.34.
Okay. Council, you approve the claims for the town, water, utility, wastewater, and stormwater. This time, we ask for a motion.
I make the motion to accept the claim.
I'll second it.
No, it's already been seconded. Motion been here in second. Regular business meeting will be held here July 14th, 2026, at 7 p.m. in this building. You may get wet. I'll second it. Motion made, second, all in favor, say aye. Meeting adjourned.
Thanks.
Thank you, Jim.